Now, over on my YouTube community page, I polled you guys and I asked you guys, what project should I work on next? Whether that was a train to the main base location, some mini games, work on some more automation, or, well, make a flatbed that is full of toolboxes that can be auto-refilled with this system behind me. And you guys voted, yes, about 4,000 of you, which is quite a lot to participate in a community poll. And if you didn't know, I do have a community page that I do post to here on YouTube. So you can find that by clicking on my channel and you go to the actual post page section. It's a great way to poll you guys. And I did ask you guys, and you guys voted for tracks to the main base location. So this is a huge project, and I was kind of putting it off because of how large of a project this is going to be. So now I guess without further ado, we are going to have to figure out how we're going to link into this train station and how we are going to expand a train track into the area that I want to call main base. And this is where you're probably wondering, Chosen, where's main base? Like, where have you decided for main basing? And that location, my friends, is going to be off in this direction. So continuing on out this way, there's a nice plains biome, but I'm gonna have to figure out how to get a train to route through this area. And yes, it is going to be quite the journey for a train track to lead through all kinds of hills and valleys and all kinds of things that trains typically try to avoid, I think. Yes, and it is very, very far out. As you can see right here, I haven't made it there yet, but we are very, very close. I think this area right here, yes, this is it. So essentially where you just seen all the way out to this place over here. It is a very large plains biome, and there's a village on one side, and directly in the middle is a pillager outpost. And I want to be able to use that pillager outpost in the future, but I also want all of this beautiful flat land to make a lovely, lovely facility. And I think this is going to be a great place for me to set up shop, to have plenty of automation space and tons of cool places to build things. And there's just so much space. The more I look here, the more I'm like, oh yes, it'll be a great place to have trains routed through here. There's just so much open space, but getting here is going to be the hard part. Now, if I plan on routing a train through mountains and through and around the side of mountains, I'm going to need the help of, well, a beacon. I think a beacon is definitely going to be necessary for me to be able to hollow this out and do it in good time. Now, just as the sun is setting, I have a plan and I have an efficient way and strategy to share with you on how you can actually make your own train tracks and make them efficiently. But first, before we get to that, I've got to farm a few skulls because I've got to get myself a star, a nether star, so that way I can build myself a beacon and then make myself a portable beacon contraption 9000. Ah, yes. Well, I think after all of that, not too bad. We got our 3 skulls. That's basically all we need now to head to the end. And that should be just a quick trip along the nether roof. Perfect. And this honestly is one of the fastest ways to take on a wither, especially if I'm using it just for a building tool, and that's all the nether star is really worth. So we can place this down. Wait, there's just a skull over here? Oh, it's a wither head, not a skull. Somebody left a wither head here? They didn't even pick it up. Anyways, mine now. So I can spawn him in. He's going to get his head stuck in there, and I can just simply swat away. Very, very simple. I can't believe this is still a part of Minecraft. They've never like patched this or anything. It's just, this is always how it has been and how it will be, honestly. And done. Perfect. And we get another skull as well. This tool is going to help me so much in building this track. We just need to go ahead and get this ready to go. There's our beacon, and I'm going to need a bunch of iron. Thankfully, I have a little bit of an iron farm or two. And after gluing it all together and slapping down the cart, I now essentially have myself a portable beacon. And there is a cool thing about this beacon. I don't think I'm going to need any of this iron that I have stored inside this barrel. This is for just in case scenarios. But if I was to, for example, move this, it actually holds its beacon signal. So you don't have to refuel it or anything. It should just work whenever you place it down. Just to test that out, let's turn it into a contraption, pick it up, and then I can now place it back down into the world, which by the way, I do have to use a cart assembler, and we're just going to place the rail, cart assembler, place the beaconator 9000, or sorry, beacon 9000ator down, and the beacon will kick off, and immediately we are hit with more haste, which is exactly what I want from this. And after that, I have also gone ahead and made myself a little bit of a work truck. Now, this work truck is essentially for storing project materials. So when I'm mining and I have a ton of cobblestone built up, I can store all of that in here, and then I can deal with it later. I can, for example, void it if I want, do all kinds of other stuff with it down the road, and not block up my main storage machine. And so, just like all of my other contraptions, voila, I can pick it up and place it back down, I mean, so that way I can re-glue all of this back together and make sure I don't forget pieces. There we go, just like so. We'll make sure to glue everything. Yeah, glue everything. Perfect. Yeah, glue this back together. I don't make mistakes, no, but yes. Perfect. Now we are ready to go. Okay, truck done. And I can pick all of this up and rename this. This is going to be, like I said, a storage truck. So a little bit of junk in the truck and we should be good. That's going to be a perfect name for this. So with that out of the way, we are basically ready to start plotting our course. Now the railway is going to lead into this section, which is probably going to be the best route to take in order for me to get to the main base location. Here's the thing though. Trains, I mean, while they do build tunnels and trains do go through mountains and things like that, if they can avoid it, they will. And that means riding along the edges of mountains and things like that, so long as the course seems logical. But I also want to tie in some scenic routes, and I want this train to be kind of cool as you travel along to the location. Okay, so hear me out. We are going to go completely through this mountain here, and this should lead out into this bay. Okay, so we have the bay. I want to follow along at the current height that we're at. I want to follow along this whole outer area, definitely staying along here. And there's going to be some special tips and tricks that I'm going to use when we go to fill this in later on. But I do want this to be carved out a few blocks from the edge, and we'll smooth out the edges as this goes around. This is to avoid needing to build a very, very large bridge here, which I don't think in this case seems logical to do. It's such a small body of water when I could literally cut through the side of this mountain and then I can have it wrap around, which is how a lot of trains are where I live. I actually grew up, believe it or not, living right next to a rail station. I mean, it's just part of my childhood, just kind of baked in. But this is going to run, I think, through here. And I can do like we do here where I live and blast through the mountain, and we'll use some TNT to blow this up, and we can have the train go straight through this forest here. I think that'll look pretty good. And this is a beautiful scenic route, and it will make its way all the way over here. And this should be where we finally stop. Okay. At least for now, finally stop, because I am going to need to figure out how I want this to route through. But I think following the valley is going to be a great idea for the train system. It is going to be a lot of trees that need to be cleared out here, but I think we can solve that tree problem once we get some basic tracks in, and we can clear out a lot of this once the train is on train tracks. So here's where my logical thinking is going to come into play. This is about 13 blocks wide with 3 block gaps between the actual rail tracks. And I do want to continue out with 2 separate rail tracks, just like it's set up here, to kind of follow along with the engineer's guidelines. And I'm also check marking off the list, avoid building bridges so I don't get in trouble with real civil engineer. I wouldn't want any bad reviews or anything like that. I mean, I'm not an architect or anything. I mean, come on guys, I play Minecraft. With the track length here, the hard part is going to be getting it down to the actual Y level that I want and to have it look kind of natural. So I'm thinking that as far as I took it, it's probably going to need to actually curve like before we even get to this point. So this is where I'm going to have to start laying out some markers because I got to keep in mind, this is also going to extend out quite a bit here, and I might have to like landscape. I may have to add something here to get this to look natural. We are on the side of mountains, and if I want to keep this on the side of mountains, It's, you know what? It might have been easier to build a bridge. Oh my goodness. I just had a eureka moment. What if I build the track in the sky and then build a train that auto clears the land down below based on the track layout that I build from up above? Like, this could be honestly genius and revolutionary. This could allow me to have a top-down view and then have it all lead down exactly where I want it, and then just let a machine clear all the land for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk along the edge here, and I'm going to place down some blocks. And I'm going to kind of get a feel for like the trajectory that I'm going to want these tracks to go in, and try to formulate a path. And this is going to allow me to literally build my tracks up in the sky. Now, I've almost got this whole thing mapped out, and I will say this alone has me worried, but I think this is going to be a process. I think this is going to actually work. I just got to figure out the exact heights and where I want everything to ultimately be and where I want to do those transitions. And this whole thing should be able, depending on the height that we go up, I mean, it should be able to clear all of this out underneath the track, and then we can lay the real track in. So now for the fun part, we have to determine how high up I want the actual rail system to be that we're going to use to clear the area out. This is also going to be the actual outline for the entire rail system. But I need to figure out, like I said, exactly how high, because that determines how high or how low I'm actually going to build the machine that is going to do the clearing. This also needs to account for the slopes that are going to go down to the actual level that we want to ultimately get to, which I think is just going to creep its way down as it goes through the mountainside. So now what I'm thinking is our initial start will be 32 blocks higher than our ground level. So where we're going to be at is going to be 32 blocks from this basic position here. And I'm going to build up until I get to that Y level. Then we'll use that Y level to keep all of these fairly accurate, and we'll subtract that from the value that we ultimately want to get to as we continue to step down. Now that might sound a little complicated, but it is going to work, I think. As you can see, currently we are at Y level 97, and if I do 97 plus 32, that'll put us at 129, which is where we want our main rail system to be for right now. So what I'll do is I'll just go up all the way until I reach that point, 129, and I'm also going to build this one up to that value as well. And I'm going to build a straight at that value, so that way we can actually build our train in the air. Now that all of my poles are in, I basically stepped down like every other, and it should lead me with a nice smooth transition here. So I dropped like 3 all the way down to like 101, which happened to be 32 above 69, which is the level that I actually wanted this to reach. So we're going to find out, because I'm about to put the tracks in, and we're going to see how this is going to transition down. The cool part is it's going to transition down the actual land itself when we use drills. Oh, I'm pretty excited about all of this. I think, though, this is also going to leave me with like a challenge, right? Because every time we come out here, for example, I'm going to be taking this track, and then I've got to land perfectly on this, or I could, you know, stretch out. I think I might be able to make it there. It's gonna be so hard to land sometimes. I want this to be somewhat natural. I'm gonna try my best, but you can see right here it is going to branch out. But I think if I add myself some blocks, it'll allow me to see it a little bit clearer. And then I can also go into FreeCam, and FreeCam, oh, it doesn't let me see it, but we can kind of snap this, right? We can hold control. When we hold control, it'll allow it to have a much smoother, rounded transition, which is kind of what I want when I'm leading to these areas. And like I said, this might be a case where I just want to skip this and I just want to go to the next one. So let's go ahead and head on over to the next one, because I have a feeling it's going to be a much smoother transition. Okay. It's so hard to land on these, but yes, I think that might be a little bit better. Thankfully it doesn't unlink or anything like that. So let's do the same thing again. We'll get back a little bit, and ooh, I mean, holding control, it's a much smoother transition. Like I said there, I think that is going to be good. And I'm just going to continue carrying this on. Like, I might have to skip a few, and then that's probably what we're going to have to do just to get this nice and smooth. Okay, so I've got the tracks in. It was a little wonky to get them in. It did take me a bit of time, but take a look at this. Oh man, like this is a nice, smooth train track. And what is going to be even smoother about this is the fact that, well, the fact that the drills are going to clear a perfectly smooth path along this track. Oh, and the ground level, it's going to look so good. Remember, this right here is just what's in the sky that's going to lead our mega drill. Now, before I can make the train, I am going to need a train station. And now that we have ourselves a train station, we can assemble the mega train. Well, almost. I still have to make the train controls, and we need a seat. So up top here, let's go ahead and get this train in. We'll place a train station lined up right here, facing this direction. That's going to be fine for now. We have to open this up and click create train. This will allow us to start building the train. Now, a train needs a bogie. To make a bogie, you need to use a train casing. By clicking that, it creates this bogie. And it says right click again to cycle the type. For some reason, we have to click it on the track itself, right? So clicking on the track itself will allow you to change between the two different types of wheels, a large one or small one. I'm going to stick with this. That's going to work for fine right now. I'm not really interested so much in making this train look nice as much as I am making it look functional. Now I'm going to use the wonderful jetpack here. I only wish that it would let you hold shift together, like shift and spacebar, because it just has you fly up. That is so wonky that it does that. All right. But yes, we've got to go down. And for some reason, it's really hard to place these blocks directly underneath. If I click here, it's going to change the bogey. So I'm going to continue just like so. And I just got to get this lined up going straight down. And that's because I want to have just a single column that goes underneath here. Same for this. Underneath the tracks don't need anything. So I'm going to have this also include a casing. This has to go all the way down. And this is where we get to get a little bit creative, right? Because I want this to clear out exactly where these train tracks are at. So I am going to clear out all of these train tracks. Technically, it's going to auto clear it out. But I want it to span all the way out here. And there's going to be a couple of things that we're going to need on this, including a storage, in order for this to work properly. So as far as the drill itself and how wide we want this, we know we want at least 2 blocks outside of the train track. But I think I'm going to go a couple more just to give myself a little bit more wiggle room. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to have it go all the way out here. And same on the other side. I think that would be more than fine. I'm going to clear out some space in front of this. And I want this to also go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 blocks. On all sides. I think that's going to be more than enough. Now, the way this is going to be configured, I am going to need to have casing that actually goes up under the ground because these drills need something to connect to. And also I'm going to need something to connect these saws to. So I'm going to have a row of saws that are going to go out the front just along the bottom. Everything else, though, is going to be these drills. But they do have to be attached to something. You can't, unfortunately, attach with glue a drill directly into the saw. I know it's weird, but yeah, they don't consider each other connectable. Now, I have a feeling this is going to require so many drills. I should have more than enough. I know I have 9 stacks of drills in stock inside of our factory. And this is probably the only reason this is going to be truly possible is because we built that giant mall. Now, I did place these in, and you might notice this weird shape. Like, why am I doing this? Well, that's to be able to shape the mountain, technically. So this will be able to layer that mountain a little bit further inward. I could even add a bit more to the outside, but this is already about 6 stacks of drills. Now, my only major concern is, can we actually glue this whole thing together without hitting some sort of limitation? I still don't know just yet, but I'm going to go ahead and glue this together, get that glued into that piece, and then I've got to get these pieces glued together as well. Now, storage wise, why don't I just take the entire storage I just created and literally just put it on here? Like, What could go wrong? I mean, yeah, I could just literally have it just set right here. Like, we just need to remove the cart assembler. Like, the cart assembler needs to be here just to place the cart in. But after that's in, yeah, we can just break the cart temporarily and then remove the setup here, and it's all glued still. All I've got to do is add the glue to this part here, and then I can remove this later on after this whole thing is glued together. So we'll just glue this back section because all of this is now a part of this one contraption. And I've just got to place a seat on here like this and some train controls, which can go right there if I just flip them around. Perfect. And glue that together, and we essentially have a ready to go train. Or at least so I hope, because the moment of truth is honestly clicking this assemble train button. Oh my goodness, it is all now one assemble train, and it should start working. So when I click on this and I get into the controls, we have a train, and I can go forward with this, and it should start breaking blocks. Oh, wait. But it did miss my drills, or miss my saws. Wait, I should be able to connect the saws together. Did I? Oh, I might have undone them. Okay, hold on. Now, if we do mess up with a train, unlike a normal contraption, we do have to redock the train, and then I have to go back into this, and I have to reinitiate the train. So I have to click disassemble, and then I can go back down into the train settings, and I can get this glued together, because for some reason I think I missed the saws. We need the saws. Yeah, that's so weird. It is glued together, or at least I thought it was glued together. Now it's definitely glued together. Either way, this has me so excited because this is going to allow me to do the real magic after we at least get the land cleared out, because the land clearing process is honestly going to be the most tedious. Everything else is kind of fun. Okay, let's leave and let the land clearing begin. Oh, that reminds me, now that I'm seeing this, I actually need to add oh, I didn't glue the drills on the bottom side. Or maybe we are hitting a contraption limitation here, because those are now not connected either. What? No, I think I just literally forgot to glue those together. You know what? Glue's hard sometimes. Just hear me out. Okay, so train's assembled. Now we can go. Okay. And everything is together. Notice, by the way, the drills are not breaking the tracks. You would need a plow to do that. But it is going to break through all of this, leaving a nice trimmed area. Oh, wait, but one side of the drill, yeah, it's all working. And then when we take corners and we go down, the rail just direction changes. The drills are going to carve out the land in just the perfect way. Now, I may have to go back sometimes to re-drill areas. Like, you may notice it literally missed those blocks. But honestly, way faster doing this than by hand. I still, though, will have to go in and clean up some of these areas, just because I didn't make my drills long enough. This is more than fine. I am so happy with that. Oh man, this is great. Okay, I do need to remove my beacon though. Just like that, we have most of this area cleared out. Now, it's not 100% perfect by any means. There's a lot of trees that kind of need to be cleared out. Lots more areas to be worked through, but this is a start. The rest of this can be actually done with rollers with another train. Yeah, rollers. That's going to be something we actually get to work on here in a moment. But you can see right here, it's an absolute mess. There's still a lot more that I want to do. And I think it might actually be a good idea to bring this train back and to probably add some deployers to the bottom, because there's areas like this, for example, that we're going to have to fill the outer edge in that didn't necessarily have an area originally. So yeah, it's going to require a lot of dirt, I think, for this. But I do want to have a set of deployers looking down that place in at least the areas where the tracks should go. So that means time to just, to back this baby up. I've just got to disassemble the train again after getting it back. I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and remove all the mechanical saws. We don't really need these anymore. I could, I guess, lower them one and it would clear a lot. And I mean a lot. Yeah, I might actually do that. I'm probably going to just lower them one. That way it will clear out the majority of those trees back to the other area. But I do need deployers pointing down, specifically right here, to place dirt like right in these areas. And I'll go ahead and put the dirt in here to specify, hey, only place dirt in these locations. And then, because why not, let's just go ahead and include the grass that is the foundation into the contraption. That way I can bridge over here and include this, and then be super lazy and bring this up. Yeah, this should work just fine. Like I said, this is the boring contraption. This is literally the most temporary thing I'm going to make on this server. I'm almost positive is a train creator like this. So now when this moves along, if there is an empty space, the deployers should place dirt along its path. Oh, it almost would be good. I mean, this is going to work out just fine. You can see the deployers. Oh my goodness. Really placing along here. But this is also going to be a great path for me to get my rails in. So we have our lower train rails placed in and ready to go. Yeah, I tell you what, it is a little bit harder than I thought realigning all of this. Like, I mean, this should be easy. I should just be able to like go back and kind of figure out the positions that I was at. But yeah, the same for this area as well. Like I've got to get this all the way over here, find the exact position that I did this at, which I think I linked it right here. Yeah, this piece right here. So I'll go right underneath it, give it a nice look, and then I should be able to go, yeah, that's where it's at, but it's not. I must have added a length over here somewhere. Now I think having this up in the sky and doing the second layer of tracks, oh, it's working out really well, because I'm able to use that side to also judge the placement of the other side. And if you keep everything basically the same, the tracks are just going to follow seamlessly. Now there is a lot of clipping going on right here that you can see, but this will all be fixed whenever we get rollers on an actual cart that we can send down this line. So I'm almost done. Man, this is already looking phenomenal. I don't typically play around with the trains too much, especially going over long distances. There's normally like never a huge need to do this in most single player worlds, unless you're doing it specifically for aesthetic reasons. But I'm gonna want to like use trains to be able to get items back and forth between different locations, specifically on this server, because this is really all we have to be able to move items around long distances. So yeah, this is gonna work out perfectly. So we almost have everything done. That's basically the final part of the track. Now I've just got to clear all of those tracks away. Now with all of the tracks except for this basically done, because I still have to wrap this up, I can go ahead and disassemble this train, and I'm going to collect all the pieces and also grab my storage off here. So almost got the entire thing tore down, almost, and there we go. The whole thing is picked up. And I wasn't joking when I said this thing was like 6 stacks of mechanical drills. Oh, and by the way, because I used my mobile truck on the back of this temporary train, yeah, we can just, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's try that again. There we go. We can just pick it up and literally take the thing with me. Now with all of the tracks laid down, it's now time to try and make this look a little bit prettier and finally use some of the features that Create has built in that can actually round out some of these areas, including this section right here. Oh, there's a lot of cool things that these things can do. Let me show you these rollers. So it is time. Let's go ahead and build a new train. So I want to place this over here. Let's go ahead and get our bogey in. Actually, I have to place the bogey. Oh, goodness. I place the bogey after we start the train. There we go. And this time, things are going to be a little bit different. I am going to have a connected train, going to look just like this. This is going to have some train controls on it, but the main thing is just placing rollers on the front. So the rollers are going to look just like this, and I do want to bridge over, and I want some rollers also over here, basically doing the exact same thing. Now, these rollers have some settings on them, and this is where the true power comes into play, these settings. Now, this is going to seem kind of odd, but essentially what I want to do first, I think, is have a bunch of cobblestone fill in this area. Now, these have, like I said, a few modes. We have clear blocks and pave, which is something I do want to do, but just not yet. And then we have straight fill below, and then we have slope fill below. I want to use, I think, all of these. The main one right now is straight fill below, and on all of these, set it to cobblestone. So this is going to take all of those that are connected to it. It's going to set them all the same. And the main thing I want to fill underneath directly is cobblestone. We have a ton of it, so I do want to use that. So I just specify right here, and you can see all of them sort of gather together and complete. Now, what exactly is this going to do? Well, first, it's going to give us a nice solid platform for me to have what I actually want on top, which is going to be gravel and some tuff mixed in. And the reason I want to use gravel is because gravel was primarily what I seen on the railroad as a child. The railroad would somehow be raised up and like the gravel would be sloped underneath it. So now with everything in place, let's go ahead and assemble the train. It looks like the train is good and ready to go. And I can start to fill this with cobblestone. Now, I just have one chest as of right now filled with cobblestone. I think I'm going to have to go back to my factory over here to grab a bit more. But we can go ahead and at least test this out, and I can kind of show you what this mode is essentially going to do. So as I go forward, assuming that I actually glue my seat together, how did I miss the seat? There we go. Try again. We're going to notice this is going to place cobblestone straight down, and it is going to fill the entire area underneath. It is kind of ridiculous, and it might cause a little bit of lag for you. But I still have I have a feeling that this is going to use up a lot, and I mean a lot of cobblestone, especially in this area right here, where I'm going to need this to trail all the way down. I will say though, this is a nice way of doing this where I don't have to do it by hand, because doing it by hand would take me significantly longer than just using this. Now, interestingly enough, it does look like it has a limit, like it's not going all the way down. So I still will have to go and backfill, I think, a lot of this by hand. After getting most of that in, I can go ahead and use a contraption control, take one of the rollers, place it into the contraption control. That should allow me to turn these on and off as needed. So while this is actually in a contraption form, that can be done. So where would I, for example, want to do this? Well, there are parts of this I kind of want to have in and out of actually gravel. So I kind of want this to also be mixed in with some gravel. So what I can do is I can have it pick back up some of the tuff and just have gravel periodically placed in between in certain areas. And I also want it to go into these other areas more towards the exiting area where it's flat. So now with this on the train and the train sort of set up, if I activate this, it shouldn't try to place. And I do have this set up for gravel. So when it's rolling, you notice it's not going to try and place any gravel here. But if I pop off for a minute and I click the button, it will now start to replace these sections with gravel. I mean, and this is a interesting way. I can pop back off, I can turn this back on, and then we can continue rolling with sections every now and then containing a little bit of gravel. I think that's kind of cool. Like, I don't know. After all of that, let's switch this over to sloped fill below, keep it to gravel, and make sure this thing is off because I do not want it trying to slope fill that. Now, thankfully, slope fill mode doesn't actually remove anything that we've already done. So this is kind of something you can do after you've done everything. But yes, slope fill mode is going to be really good for some situations. Like, I would even think right here might be a good place to do it, but I'm probably going to do this manually by hand. Where I really want to do the slope fill mode is like over here. So I think what I can do is I can probably go ahead and turn this on. And I love that you can control the train at the same time. You can click the button mid control and it doesn't remove the fact that you're working on the contraption. But right here, we're going to be able to see it a little bit in action here. It is going to literally slope fill all of that in. And it is really, really nice. The transition, super, super good. It just uses a lot of gravel here. I mean, a lot. It's going to use so much. And I hope I have enough. It just totally beats doing it by hand. Like, this is so nice that this can place all of this in so well. Look at this. Oh my goodness. This would take me so long to do by hand. And it doesn't even care. It just does it automatically. I think right there, though, I'm definitely out of gravel. Now, after refilling with a bit of gravel, I can kick this back on and we can finish this up. There is still, though, a lot for me to do. I still have a lot of cleanup, especially these trees. All kinds of stuff here to technically be worked on. And I probably should get out of here, but come on, let's go. We got these guys after us. But yes, make sure I turn this off. Woo! And I'm going to work my way back, but it's starting to look really, really good. There's still so much work to be done. I have spent all day today, like 8 hours, a good 8 hours working on this project. It may not seem like it in a 30-minute episode or so, but yeah, these rails are no joke. This is a super time-consuming thing to do. Got to give it to Stam for his amazing rail system that he set up. I think he spent an entire week working on that. And I'm hoping that me implementing these sort of setups here, like, makes setting up trains a little bit easier and not so time consuming, right? Even with all of this, I did decide to go with a pretty outlandish little path solution here. I could have just gone straight, but I did want to make it nice and scenic. And I wanted to make it nice for people who choose to come this direction. It would be kind of nice. Now, there is still a tremendous amount of work to be done here. I have a lot of plans, and I'm going to have all of this section right here filled with dirt, and then there's going to be retaining walls on the outside of this. It's all going to be done by hand. Probably going to be mixed in just like what we've done at our base to kind of match that same style. And that's going to be done all along this entire stretch, blending in the dirt into the actual retaining wall. This is going to look pretty darn sick. But the majority of this is actually going to be done over on Twitch. But don't get me kind of confused here. There will still be time lapses of all of that work being done. But if you wouldn't mind, check out my Twitch, twitch.tv/ChosenArchitect. I will be streaming this throughout this week. So the time of this video dropping, which should be on Thursday, I should be live on Thursday, the time of this video, and also Friday as well, working on this project, getting everything ready for Sunday's episode, which I plan on building a train and actually starting to put this to use. Oh, there's so many things I have planned in the works. So if you guys did enjoy today's episode, of course, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up. A lot of work and time goes into these episodes, and I just appreciate it if you would just click that beautiful like button. Of course, that subscribe as well. And also, don't forget to check out the Discord, my Discord, and also the community Discord. I have them all linked down in the description below. Honestly, there's a lot of useful links down in the description below. You want to join an awesome modded community that really covers everything, even outside of Create. Definitely join my community, and if you want to continue your journey and join the discussion about this SMP, then definitely join the Just Create SMP as well Discord. Speaking of Discord, I do want to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to King Direwolf. Thank you so much for your amazing support in choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting me in one of the best ways possible. I appreciate you very, very much. And I thank all of you guys for clicking that subscribe button, watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And as always, again, thanks for watching.